All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a tool that lets you speak directly to your computer, turning really complex tasks into super simple commands. This is your introduction to the world of PowerShell.
Just imagine for a second. What if instead of clicking through endless menus in Windows, you could just tell your computer what to do? Automate all those repetitive, boring tasks with just a few lines of text?
Well, it turns out you can. That's exactly what PowerShell is for. It's kind of like two things in one. A command line, where you can give orders, and a scripting language to write out full sets of instructions. Think of it as the ultimate control panel for your system, built from the ground up for automation.
Okay, so every great project needs a good workspace, right? Ours is going to be digital. So first things first, let's get our tools set up. And the best part? It's incredibly easy and takes just a few minutes.
It's really just a simple three-step process. First, you'll want to grab the latest version of PowerShell directly from Microsoft. Second, install Visual Studio Code. It's a fantastic, free editor for writing scripts. And last, inside VS Code, you just add the official PowerShell extension. That's it. Boom, you're all set up and ready to go.
So our workshop is ready. Now it's time to actually learn the language. And don't worry, this isn't some super complex programming language. The grammar of PowerShell is surprisingly logical and really easy to pick up.
The basic building blocks in PowerShell are called CMDlets, which, is just a mashup of the words commandlets. The name itself kind of tells you what they are. They're small, focused commands, and they're designed to be totally intuitive, following a structure that feels a lot like a simple sentence.
And here's the beautiful part. Every single comlatin follows a simple verb-noun structure. Always. As you can see here, if you want to get the current date, the command is getDate. Need to check a system service? Well, it's getService. It's always the action you want to take, followed by the subject you're taking it on. Simple, and more importantly, predictable.
Now, sometimes you need to store a piece of information to use it later. In PowerShell, we do this with variables. You just use a $sign, like $name, and then you give it a value. It's literally like putting a piece of info into a labeled box that you can grab and open whenever you need it. So for example, $name equals Rajat just puts the text Rajat into the box we've labeled name.
When it comes to operators, some of this is going to look very familiar. Standard math uses the symbols we all know and love. But, and this is a key difference, for comparing things, PowerShell has its own unique syntax. Instead of a double equal sign, like in other languages, you use -equal for equal to, -GT for greater than, and so on. It's a small change, but it's a really crucial one to remember.
All right, we've learned the basic grammar. Now let's see how we can build this into something that's actually powerful. This is where we start making our scripts smart, giving them the ability to make decisions all on their own.
The key to making any decision is the if-else statement, and it works exactly like it sounds. You just tell the script, if a certain thing is true, then do this one action. Else, if it's not true, do something different. This is what lets your scripts react and adapt to different situations automatically, without you having to do anything.
Now, what about those really repetitive tasks, the ones you have to do over and over again? This is where loops come in, and trust me, they are an absolute game changer for automation. With a loop, you really can perform the same action on hundreds or even thousands of items just as easily as you could on a single one.
Let's look at a quick example. First, we create a simple list of numbers, from 1 to 10. Then, the for each loop basically says, for each item in that list, I want you to do this one specific action. Now imagine instead of numbers, this was a list of 100 files you needed to rename. The loop would just go through every single one, automatically. That's the core of how we automate repetition.
So we've covered commands, we've got logic, and we've talked about loops. But now we get to what is, without a doubt, the most powerful and elegant feature in all of PowerShell, the pipeline. This is where everything we've just learned really comes together.
The absolute best way to understand the pipeline is to picture a factory assembly line. Each command, each commandlet is a different station on that line. The pipeline is the conveyor belt that takes the output from one station and feeds it directly into the input of the next one, refining the work as it goes along.
So let's build one, right now. Our assembly line starts at station 1 with the get process command. This command goes out and gathers information on every single process currently running on your computer. And when I say everything, I mean it. It's a massive, unfiltered flood of data.
Okay, now for the magic. We add the pipeline operator. That's the vertical bar symbol. This is our conveyor belt.
It takes all of that output from getProcess and pipes it directly into our next command, whereObject. You can think of this station as quality control. It filters that huge flood of data and only lets the items that match our rule pass through, in this case only the process named Notepad.
But wait, the Notepad process still has a ton of information attached to it that we don't care about. So we just add another pipeline, another conveyor belt, and send our filtered results to the final station, Select Object. This station's job is super simple. Just pick out the specific details we asked for, just the process ID and its name.
So let's step back and look at what we just did. We took 3 very simple, independent commands, and by connecting them with a pipeline, we created a highly specific, super powerful one-line automation. We went from a fire hose of data to exactly the piece of information we wanted in just a few keystrokes. That is the incredible power of the pipeline.
And there you have it. You now have the fundamental building blocks of PowerShell. The commands, the logic, and the pipeline that ties it all together. You've basically just learned the grammar of a new, powerful language. So the only real question left is, what will you command first?